Okay everyone, in this video I want to do a quick show between the Shun Sora, which like I said is the entry-level Shun knife, and the actual Shun Premier, which is the higher end, sort of, except for the limited edition knives, their flagship model. So, like I've mentioned before, there are a couple of major differences. First and foremost, actually, you know what? Let's start with the similarities, or what matters. First off, they both use VG10 steel, which is very tough steel. I think it's something like 61 hardness. So it's very resistant to losing its edge. It's very resistant to being worn down. But at the same time, it's harder, which means it's a little bit more brittle. So you have to be careful how you use them. You have to use them on end grain cutting boards, on polypropylene cutting boards, stuff like that, so that you aren't actually chipping away at the blade. Second off is they're both clad blades, so they both have the harder steel wrapped around something that makes them stain resistant. I'll go more into that in a second. And third off, the most important thing about them is they both have a 16-degree cutting edge, which means that each side is sharpened to 16 degrees, which means it's 32 degrees inclusive, which is a very thin sort of angled blade, which is why they're so sharp. The original Wushdorfs, I think, were something like 18 degrees, or no, actually no, they were 45 degrees inclusive, so they were 22 degrees, so they were pretty much just a giant thick wedge. The Shuns are much thinner. The Wushdorf, the new versions, I think they're 12 degrees or 14 degrees each side, so they are a little bit thinner, but I still prefer these guys because they're much lighter and they make you feel a lot more agile. Say hello to my face and my beanie. So, in terms of that, those are the similarities. Now let's use that as a jumping off point to get to the differences. The Shun Premier and the Shun Classic are both 32 clad layers of steel, which means it's 32 layers of steel folded on top of each other. This little guy, the Shun Sora, is just 2, which means you have one layer on top of the other layer and they're essentially welded together. Does that make too much of a difference? Not really. Is this a little bit more resilient? Yes, it definitely is. But in terms of the cutting prowess and just the general ability of the knife, and whether it's going to make too much of a difference for you in your lifetime, that's the end of it. Who cares? Second off, this little guy has a plastic handle with a stamped little Shun logo on the back. This has a wood handle, or Paco wood, which is a type of compressed wood which makes it resistant to stains and chipping and things like that. And it has the Shun logo smashed right there in the back. So you can definitely tell this is a higher quality knife than this is, but in terms of usability, makes no real difference. These are both, by the way, the 8-inch chef's knives, just to give you a bit of background. Third difference is this has the Damascus finish right there. I'm not sure if you can tell. Plus the hammered finish above it, which they say helps release food from it. There you go. You can see the hammered finish a lot better. This is just a very shiny, very nice, smooth finish. Really just depends on what you like. Different strokes for different folks. This is a much more sort of standard looking chef's knife. This little guy is thinner. It has a sharper point. It sort of breaks off into a point, and it has these two sort of cutting spots right there with a curve in the center. It gives you a nicer, you can tell when I do this. There you go. Flat spot, curve, flat spot. This is actually just a rocking curve all the way up and down. So it really depends on what you like. I personally love my Premiers, but I completely and totally like having this set of Shun, I guess Soras for things I'm not as worried about. It hurts a bit less to mess up this knife than it does this. At the end of the day, they're both great knives. They both cut pretty much the same. Oh, quick note. 10-year warranty, lifetime warranty. And I believe I know this gets lifetime sharpening for free. You just mail it to them and they'll sharpen it to you and send it back. I'm not 100% sure if the Sora gets lifetime sharpening for free as well. I'll look into that and I'll put a note here on the video. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments, let me know. And I'll put links down below to both of these so you guys can check them out and see if you want them. But like I said, I love my Premiers. Beautiful knives. They definitely stand out in the kitchen. And they are just, I don't know, really gorgeous. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Talk to you soon. Okay everyone, in this video I want to do a quick show between the Shun Sora, which like I said is the entry-level Shun knife, and the actual Shun Premier, which is the higher end, sort of, except for the limited edition knives, their flagship model. So, like I've mentioned before, there are a couple of major differences. First and foremost,